So I bought this place back in December. It needed a full gut job, but not only that, it needed new wiring, it needed new plumbing, it needed new windows. And I was pretty green to that whole process still. Now I have a better idea of what I'm doing, and just kind of wanted to share with you guys how the process goes. So obviously, first thing you're going to do is start ripping up flooring. I had these old carpets in here that were nasty. They're smelly and dirty. When you're taking up carpets, you want to try and be a little delicate about it. You don't want to jack up actual chunks of flooring when you're doing it, especially if you have beautiful hardwood floors underneath, which I was fortunate enough to have. If you're doing new wiring and new plumbing, it's also really important to get the ceiling off, getting the lid off, as I learned it was called. And then really after that, you can start opening up the walls. You got to make sure that you clean up that old insulation, regardless of whether or not you're doing new wiring and plumbing, is probably going to need to get taken out for reasons that you saw in that picture right there. When you're taking out walls themselves, it's really important to kind of focus on working around the studs themselves. That way you can take the walls out in larger chunks as opposed to kind of piece by piece. You really want to try and work smarter during this process, not harder. It's not going to be easy by any means, but you can at least make it a little bit more straightforward for yourself. Once you're done getting the drywall off the walls, you can start taking the nails out. The nails are taken out so you can lay a clean surface for the drywall installers. Obviously, you're going to be doing some sweeping through the process as well. The cleaner you keep your space, the more quality your project's going to be. It makes life easier for your subs as they kind of work through what they need to work through in the space. The more straightforward you can make the project, the easier it is. Again, when you're doing all this stuff, using the right tools is going to be super important. I'm taking out the flooring right here in both the kitchens and the bathrooms. And having the right tools is huge. I have this really big crowbar that I use to take up the laminate in the kitchen. And those sheets, if I tried to take them out piece by piece, I would have been there for a week. The larger you can take them out, the larger pieces you can take out, the better. Once you're done getting all the flooring out and exposing all the stud work, you can really start to see if you have any underlying issues. I had a bit of termite infestation that I got treated as soon as I bought the property. I knew we had a home inspection, so I got it treated right away. But after opening up the walls, I could see that there was actually some wood that needed to be replaced. So got a framer in there, got what needed to be taken out, took that out, got it replaced. And then as I'm working through the project, it's really just about getting everything in between the house and the walls out. So we're talking about fixtures, cabinets, countertops, tubs. Then you can get into the walls. Once you get into the walls, see if you have any issues with framing. You want to make sure that the space is as clean as possible when you're working through it. That way, when you put in the insulation, after you're done, everything's dialed in. So once that's all done, you can start working on the windows. You need to take the framing out before you can actually take the physical windows out themselves. As you're going through that process, you want to make sure that you try not to mess with the stucco too much. The more damage you do to exterior stucco, like you can see right here, the more you're going to have to pay a stucco repairman. I mean, really, the cleaner that you can do the entire job, the more money you're going to save. Obviously, with me being brand new to it, there was some mistakes that I made in the process that are going to end up costing me a little bit of money. And that's kind of part of the reason why I'm making the video too, so that hopefully you guys can learn a little bit. Once the framing's out of the windows will pop out pretty easily. Having those dual pane windows makes a huge amount of difference from a street noise aspect, from an insulation aspect. Really worth the investment in my opinion, and really doing all of this is going to allow me to not touch this thing for hopefully a decade. So once all the walls are opened up, once you've got the windows in, you can start really designing the space. You should probably be thinking about how you're going to design the space throughout the process, as I'm sure you would be if you purchase this as an investment property. But this is really where it starts to come to fruition. You can start planning out where all your appliances go, what kind of fixtures you're going to be using in the space. I mean, even everything down to which direction the doors are going to swing. You get to design this space in its entirety, which is a really cool process. After you get all the initial work done, when the walls are still open, you're going to want to call a rough-in inspection. And then once that's done, you can put in the insulation, you can put the drywall in, you can get texture done. I did an imperfect smooth. I really like imperfect smooth. Just gives it a little bit of character to it, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's different. You can pick whatever you want. And that's the beautiful part about owning a house. But really, once the texture and the taping is done, you get the floors done, get the cabinets in, get the countertops on, and then you could start working on putting in the fixtures. I thought I was going to be done mid-July, but I at least wanted to give you guys a little status update of where I am. Give me a few more weeks and it'll be done.